Katie, Carrie,
Brandon.
Amy.
The health conscious among us take care to avoid notorious risks such as mercury-laden fish, lead paint, and cigarette smoke, all which contain chemicals that are harmful to the body. But did you ever think twice about the pots and pans you use in the kitchen? Well, with my experience as a Navy chef for 8 years, I'm going to persuade you today to throw away your non-stick Teflon pans. In order to do that today, I'm going to tell you that in 3 ways. First, I want to tell you what Teflon is. Second, what the problems are and why you should throw them away. And finally, some alternate choices for pots and pans. With that being said, let's go over what Teflon is. According to Peter Lavelle, Teflon was invented in the 1930s by global chemical giant DuPont. It was a miracle product of the post-war years, which helped in the age-old chore of scraping pots and pans of burnt food. Teflon was added to the pans to create the non-stick surface and help with those sticking foods. But what you didn't know is they also contain a chemical called perfluorocentic acid, or PFOA as I will refer to it as. That chemical compound was used to make fluoropolymers, which in turn is used to make Teflon, also in stain repellents in carpets, leather, and paper. So now you know what Teflon is and how it's made. Let's go over why you shouldn't have it and why you should get rid of your Teflon pans. Non-stick pans with Teflon release toxins at extremely high temperatures. At those high temperatures, the Teflon is known to give off a cocktail of 15 different types of particles and gases, which include trifluorocentic acid and phosphagen, which is poisonous to birds and in humans cause backaches, headaches, chills, and fevers, known as the Teflon flu. The Environmental Working Group, which is an independent U.S. nonprofit consumer group, says that Teflon begins to deteriorate at around 500 degrees Fahrenheit and significantly decompose at 660 degrees Fahrenheit. Cooking fats like butter starts to scorch and smoke at 392 degrees Fahrenheit, and meats are fried at 400 to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. But when you're cooking those, the pots may have some hot spots that exceed those temperatures, so you got to be careful of that. The Environmental Working Group also notes that off-gassing, which is the chemical release, the volatile chemical release into the atmosphere of those fumes when the pan is left unattended. Now, a Teflon non-stick pan gets to 721 degrees Fahrenheit in roughly 5 minutes on a conventional electric stove top. So you have to be careful of that as well, leaving your pans unattended. An article written by Alexia Algede-Ruiz states that PFOA is in 98% of people, and that comes from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and that chemical remains in our body for a long period of time. We can be exposed to that chemical by breathing it in, absorbing it through our skin, or even ingesting it through our food when it leaches from packaging to the food. Extremely high exposure to the chemical has been linked to cause cancer, birth defects, and liver damage. So, according to a study in Johns Hopkins University in 2007, the chemical was known to, when it was in effect with babies while they were in the uterus, it caused smaller or lower birth weights and smaller head circumferences. So that could be a big issue. From an article by Jane Holohan, 9 states were contaminated, including Washington, D.C., by this chemical when a water leak happened with a nearby DuPont plant in West Virginia. Researcher Edwin Emmett of University of Pennsylvania noted that PFOA levels in 324 residents in Little Ocking, Ohio, which their water, the community was, water was contaminated by a nearby DuPont plant in Parkersburg, West Virginia. The levels were 105 times higher, the chemicals level in the actual tap water. And such high intense concentrations can cause and drive chronic health risks. So you have to be careful of that. Peter Lavelle noted in 2004 that DuPont paid $300 million to out-of-court settlements to roughly 50,000 residents in West Virginia who filed a class action against them. Also in 2005, the Environmental Protection Agency fined DuPont $16.5 million because they knew about the chemical but didn't tell anybody. That's kind of ridiculous, and that's good that they got fined that $16.5 million. On a good note, according to Dr. Daniel DeNoon of WebMD, in 2006, the Environmental Protection Agency announced the PFOA Stewardship Program, which will help reduce PFOA production by 95% by 2010 and completely eliminate the production by 2015. So now I've told you why you shouldn't use Teflon and why you should get rid of it and the problems with it. So let's go over some alternate choices for pots and pans. So let's head to the kitchen, grab your old pots and pans with Teflon non-stick pans, take them to the dump, let's head to the store with this new advice. According to George Malijan of WHFoods.org, his first recommendation would be a stainless steel pan like this. If everybody would get one of these in the kitchen, that would be a good idea. Second choice would be a porcelain coated pan, or a copper bottom pan, or a pot with a thin layer of copper between the stainless steel. He also notes that aluminum would be alright, but you have to be worried about a little migration of aluminum into your food. Cast iron like this pan here is a great choice, but you have to be careful. It's a little heavy, and if someone in the family is high in iron, then that wouldn't be a good choice. Dr. Oz also recommends that you switch to anodized aluminum, which is non-stick and doesn't release any chemicals or toxins. If you can't get rid of your non-stick pans, then maybe you could follow these few steps by Dr. Hoffman of WebMD. You should never preheat your non-stick pan, your Teflon non-stick pan. And you should never put it in an oven that's above 500 degrees Fahrenheit. If you are using your non-stick Teflon pan, keep an exhaust fan on. If you have a pet bird, this is a great fact, if you have a pet bird, then you don't want to use your non-stick Teflon pan with that bird in the area because the fumes from the pan will kill the bird within seconds. If you have scratches in your Teflon pan like this, then you want to dispose of it immediately. Don't use it. It can cause some serious issues. And then finally, like I persuaded you the whole time, just throw away your Teflon non-stick pan and go with something safer. So now I've given you some alternate choices. Let's go over a little quick review. I want you to throw away your Teflon non-stick pans, and in order to do that, I told you the 3 steps with what Teflon was, problems with it, and associated with it, why you should get rid of it, and some alternate choices. So now it is up to you to decide what is more important, the health of you and others around you, or making sure your pancake doesn't stick to the pan.